Okay, item number 4, Mr. Paul Jessup, Deputy Superintendent, please. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, President Curtis, members of the board, Superintendent Kennedy, and audience members. First of all, I'd like to say that I'd like to request to be on a different place in the agenda because I feel really terrible coming up here to talk about budget after you've just had all these great, well-deserved recognitions and highlighting the great things that are happening in your school district. Unfortunately, one of your staff stopped me tonight and said, "Do you have some good news tonight?" And unfortunately, the answer is no. But I want to kind of read something to you that I read to the Personnel Commission earlier tonight, and President Curtis and Member Histed were there to hear this. I apologize for you having to hear it again, but I think it's worth noting. This is from a fiscal report from School Services of California, which is, as you know, one of the leading school finance consulting groups in the state. And it's regarding the state revenue situation. And the title of this is April Revenues Are Coming in Short. And it goes, with just 4 days left to post April income tax revenues, the State Controller's Office is reporting that collections total a little more than $6.5 billion through April 24th, 2012. That's for the month of April. The governor's budget, however, assumes that $9.2 billion would be collected for the month. It appears the state is on the way to a $2+ billion shortfall for April, which would be combined with an existing $900 million shortfall coming into April. Thus, the outlook for the May revision is a downward adjustment in the current year revenues of potentially more than $3 billion. In addition, yesterday, the Legislative Analyst Office indicated that April revenues, absent a surprise, could be more than $2 billion short of the administration's forecast. The LAO further indicates that collections for the month are following the pattern of 2011 rather than the higher revenue path assumed by the governor's budget. The bulk of the shortfall appears to be related to estimated payments from high-income earners rather than withholding from wage and salary earners. This would appear to confirm the warning of the LAO that the administration's estimate of capital gains income is too high. Unfortunately, the aggressive assumption of capital gains income is incorporated in the governor's budget forecast for 12/13 as well. If the May revision budget year revenue forecast is adjusted for what appears to be weaker capital gains income, expect an additional $3 to $5 billion downward revenue adjustment. There could be some offsetting revenues with corporate taxes and sales and use tax, but it would not come close to approaching those numbers. But the bottom line, I think, for the Banning Unified School District is that Dr. Wallace's projection of a $6 million issue appears more and more to be what we'll be dealing with. So I'd like to take this time to applaud the efforts of everyone in the district, the board, the Budget Review Committee, the negotiating teams, for the actions and discussions that have taken place to date. I think as a positive step in the right direction. I just remind that time is of the essence. The board is scheduled to adopt its budget 8 weeks from tonight. So take out Memorial Day, we've got 39 days until budget adoption. You will receive some additional and hopefully better information from the state when the governor releases his May revise, which will probably be before the May meeting. Probably just before the May meeting.
May 21st, I believe.
Okay. So my staff and I will be meeting with Dr. Kennedy and her staff to review what some of the projections are, to make some updates. I will probably be back before you at your May meeting for a little presentation. But again, I guess I want to be cautiously optimistic that we're moving in the right direction in Banning. There are good discussions happening. There is a lot of activity taking place, as I said, in both negotiating teams and in the Budget Review Committee, which is all positive. So I'd like to end with this. You know, Dr. King, back in the 60s, said that we may have come on different ships, but we're all in the same boat now. And I think there's no better analogy than that for the Banning Unified School District. One part of the ship doesn't sink. We either all win or we all lose. And so the actions that have been taken today, again, I think are positive. It's a positive step forward. The problem is huge. The state's fiscal health is not rebounding as the governor and the legislature would like, and they're dealing with just a mess in Sacramento. So unfortunately, that comes then to you to deal with it on a local level. We have every confidence that you will. And so again, my staff and I are here to help. We'll be meeting with Dr. Kennedy and her staff, and we'll be back before you in May. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have right now.
Just one question. In light of things, what are some of the tools that we can use for our district to kind of help cope with a potential deficit?
I'm sorry.
What kind of tools? What kind of items do you typically do with other school districts regarding these kind of shortfalls?
Well, the bulk of your expenditures fall in the people you employ. Mm-hmm. I mean that's and Chris, I'm not quite sure what the percentage is, but it's probably 85% roughly. So the bulk of the solutions in every school district in this county are coming through the negotiations process, whether it is through furlough days, salary reductions, those types of things. Those are the things that are happening across the county that I can speak to, and I'm certain across the state. Other than that, you're looking to capture efficiencies in your operational costs. You're making sure that every item that you everything that you spend money on, every activity you take is purposeful. There's nothing that is just done because it's historical. And so you're really looking at those things. But your big dollars, your big dollars are always in the cost of your employees.
Okay. Randall, anything? Larry? Well, that gave us a reminder as the Board of Trustees. We have to be very aware of the climate from the state, and we appreciate your updates, even though they're not the good news that you'd like. And you're going to go last next time.
Yeah, could I go? If I could go last.
No one will stay for you.
Okay, I would appreciate it.
No, seriously.
Well, President Cruz, I sit here and listen to all the good things.
Right.
And that's what you're about. So you're doing a good job.
We will never, never give up.
All right.
Thank you.
See you in May.